What the heck is going on?
We did pretty good with our meal planning. We don't have a whole lot left over. I feel like I had kind of a hodgepodge of breakfast. We finished eating some waffles and then trying to eat these up. We still have those left. I realized I probably shouldn't have bought bananas. These oranges aren't very good. We still have cookies. And then in the fridge, it looks like we have a lot, but we actually ate quite a bit.
Okay, we're Instagramming story this. What is going on right now? Just from an outsider's perspective, it looks like you're eating pie for breakfast.
It's 11 a.m. and it's coffee time. I'm gonna have pie with my coffee. Why? I know there's some people out there that are like, yeah. And we gotta get rid of it, see? So many great explanations for why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Look what's happening now. Wait, what's going on?
Well, at first I was like, oh, that doesn't look very good. But then I walked over there.
You said you're not having as big of a piece as her?
No.
Are you putting this on the Instagram story? Do you need me to do it?
Well, my hands are kind of bored.
We've been waiting all week for this because he's been sick most of this week. And we were so excited to put him in this little pool, but today I felt like he was well enough and Seven really wanted to play with him. Can you get this hair out of this way?
We are heading out on an adventure now. One of the cool things about this trip has been we have not used our van one time. We've just walked places because the beach is 2 blocks that way and the ice cream shop is 1 block that way and everything's within walking distance, which is just great. This beach city thing has this free like trolley thing, so we're gonna go explore and we heard there's this like cool pier we're gonna go check out. Oh, that's a nice tank top.
What, Ben?
That's where we're going. From there to there. Those blue lines are pickleball court lines. I was really looking forward to flying the drone out here, but it's so windy. I want to keep that thing for at least another day or two before I crash it.
It's really windy here and kind of just want to get back on the trolley. But it was cool to walk on this pier. This pier was founded by a guy that made up the recipe for the Fig Newton, which was one of my favorite cookies as a kid.
What did you think about the pier?
It was windy.
I feel like we're not moving.
Probably it has to stay a certain amount of time.
We're ready to go home now. That trip was kind of a bust.
We have to sit here until the other trolley gets to a certain street, which they said is going to be another 10 minutes. Honestly, I'd rather be sitting in here than out in that windy hellhole. We're off.
Crumbling.
They realize. Oh, are you gonna have to work?
So I didn't plan this very well because first of all, I didn't want to do a Financial Friday on vacation. And second of all, I didn't realize that the last Friday of the month. It was actually last Friday anyways, and not this Friday. But anyways, it's time for Financial Friday. First of all, have you noticed our special guest for Financial Friday today? First time ever, let's give her a round of applause, everybody, thank you. Financial Friday is a time where we share about our finances, and the reason why we do this is probably two main reasons. One is we believe that money is important, and if you are gonna be observing other parts of our lifestyle, it would be inconsistent or at least incomplete to not hear about the money, which is a huge factor in how we got here and how we live the way we live. The second reason is there's lots of shame around money, and we want to further the discussion of having finances be something we don't have to have shame about. And the way that we can do that is by being open and honest with ourselves, each other, and even you guys. If you're new here, we've done like 4 of these or 5 of these, I think. And there's links at the end of the videos to go watch other Financial Fridays to get more background information. We're gonna start off by talking about this month's major income and expenses. First, income. We featured this on the vlog already, but we got a $51,000 check from a company that I own. That's a quarterly payment. I never know how big those are gonna be, so I'm always thankful when anything comes in. It's like hitting the lottery for me, or winning the jackpot. And other income is our Patreon account. And we really wanna thank those of you who are patrons. I think we're up to 17 people. And new patrons this month are Mike, Brianna, and Kirsty. Thank you guys so much to all of you.
Yes, thank you.
This lens being dirty is driving me crazy. Our patrons help us feel supported and not alone in this endeavor, and it's a very wonderful feeling to feel like we have people in our corner, practically speaking. Now on to expenses. We spent about $300 on a fancy dinner on a Shabbat meal, taking the family out to celebrate the $51,000 check, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was no other income unique to that month besides our regular kind of like rental income. So that was worth celebrating for us. Also, we went on our apology retreat to Indianapolis, and that whole retreat cost us $607. That was totally worth it. That was actually a pretty big expense though, to prioritize something like apologizing to people. Our largest expense for the month was a $15,000 check I wrote as a down payment to start a construction project on the house next door. Of course, there's the drone, the new drone that you guys see. That was $1,000 because I crashed the old one in Indianapolis. And while that wasn't a ton of money in the grand scheme of things for us, emotionally it was for me, because I felt stupid for crashing the drone. The other big expense for this month was being in Florida for this vacation. This house cost our family about $2,000. My parents paid about $1,000 because it was $3,000 total for the full 7 days. And we had about $500 worth of gas and food total, which we'd be buying the food anyways because we didn't eat out once this entire week. I don't know, that actually felt like a really worthwhile expense for me. Cami and I were talking about, was this worth it? Would we do it again? And I think for the reasons why we did it, which is to be with our family and to really support a vision of my dad's, Cami said something that was really helpful for me. She said, it was worth it before we even came on the trip. That's all the income and expenses, but I wanted to share with you guys, we're gonna do a special like kind of response Q&A type comment thing to a letter that we got in the mail. The reason why it's crumpled up like this was because it was put in the trash, and we actually had to dig it out of the trash, and we did.
We read it and then it got misplaced in the trash, and then we dug it out of the trash.
Dear Ben and Cami, I found your vlog through the home birth video. I appreciate the topics you guys talk about and have benefited from hearing you discuss sex, money, and parenting. I was compelled to write after watching the vlog episode, Our Secret Past. I see why you say money isn't a solution to all problems, but I wanted to bring up the idea of layers of problems. When a man or woman is concerned with providing food or money for food, there isn't room for creativity or spirituality. The man is focused on eating. But say the man finds a consistent avenue of food. It frees up space to consider other needs or focus on creativity, spirituality, things of the mind. The way you speak about money, not a solution, is speaking about money from a place of privilege. She goes on to say a bunch of nice things and signs off, Savannah, mother of 3, East Coast gal, living in the South, enjoying the journey. I really like this letter because I think it highlights a thing that a lot of people are feeling when they watch our vlog. And I think, in fact, this is a great week to talk about it because a lot of people probably see this week and they think, oh, what they're doing might not apply to my life. I mean, they're flying a drone in Florida on vacation and I'm scraping by with my own problems at home. Those guys are so different from me. And I don't know, I think there's kind of like 2 things I want to say about that is like, 1, you're right. We are in a different place from a lot of people. This is just our story that we're sharing, you know? That's why we say again and again, this is not a how-to vlog. We don't want you guys to carry the burden of trying to be like us or anyone else. We are so blessed financially, with kids, with the minds that God gave us and the education we have and the opportunities we had. There's something else that I would rather focus on. I feel like we might be more similar than you think.
Our first 3 years of marriage, where I feel like we could have written those same things that Savannah wrote. We were scraping by. I mean, I remember our first like year looking at our income versus our expenses, and our expenses were way more than our income. But somehow we made it out. I still to this day don't know, I can't explain it to you.
Part of it's called government assistance. Free
that
peanut
part
butter.
we can explain to you.
Free peanut butter and condoms.
Obviously we didn't use the condoms.
I mean,
It opens
our
up.
life is ridiculous now. I spend sometimes 20 to 30 hours a week writing. Our family spends another 20 to 30 to 40 hours a week, like filming videos just for the freaking internet.
And that's really only in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Even before that, our life looked different.
So we are outputting a ton of creativity. But like Cami says, it was not so long ago that our life was very different. You know, we've been on welfare. We've lived off of $16,000 a year. We've lived off of $10 a day. We ate out of a dumpster for more than a year.
We've done gleaning.
Yeah, we get this like leftover crap from Starbucks. That was all, and we lived off that for a year. This is what I want to tell people, because if you think you're different than us, yeah, but no, like back then, we made some very key decisions. You know, I remember when I quit my job at Red Robin, and everyone was saying not to do, because it was like a job and it was like stable income, but we quit it to bike across the country. And that might sound irresponsible to some people, but for us, I knew that our family wouldn't starve. I knew I could always go back and get a job for $15 an hour somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know, or we could live off of, you know, hardly anything, but I would rather be free and living in a cardboard box together than to be bound by some hamster wheel, treadmill, societal idea, and comfortable. You know, we made these choices very early on. I actually wrote a book on it 10 years ago, because that, I think, while we make important decisions now, that was the biggest decision of my life. Back then we had everything to lose. And even now, in some ways it's easier, but we've just gotten used to taking crazy risks. Because even spending our time creating a vlog that makes virtually no money seems like a waste of time to most people. And to us, that was probably, once again, the riskiest decision we ever made. And we still did it. Mm-hmm. And I think there's gonna be more risky decisions in the future. It doesn't get easier. Mm-hmm. So for you guys out there, Savannah, who's asking, and other people that are thinking about this, I believe that there are ways to take that calculated and beneficial risk or step of faith, not just for the hell of it, not just to be like, screw it, I'm gonna go skydiving, but actually towards purpose and meaning or philosophy or whatever it is that you feel like you are made to do, mm-hmm. instead of just putting food on the table or living a safe life. I think you can do something about that this week. It might be 5 minutes worth, it might be an hour, it might be a day, it might be 30 hours like us. But that's why we do this vlog, you guys, is to encourage each of you guys with where you're at and to show you one picture of what maybe that could look like.
There's always limits placed on us, and some of those limits are good and we need to stay within those limits. But he's always been good at trying to find out which limits can I just push a little bit more. And then eventually that stacks up. I just think like one little decision today to push a limit on yourself or your life, 10 years from now, it's gonna be monumental, I believe. In our society, very few people are just barely surviving.
Like actually surviving.
And so what I think she means is that she feels that way, which I totally validate that. But at the same time, it's cool to know that you're probably gonna eat tomorrow. Like there's probably ways to eat for most people. I don't even know
but you might not be able to eat and be comfortable.
Yeah.
Or eat and be normal. Like I said, we ate out of a dumpster. When I say we literally got food from the dumpster. I'm not telling you which one, because it was a good one.
Yeah.
It rhymes with Brader hose.
You're gonna have to either choose to be weird, to think outside of the box, because you're not, I don't think you're gonna starve.
And this is what gives us a sense of confidence in being able to say these things, is we were broke, and when I say broke, I mean like under the US poverty line, but we felt more free than ever. And then we were rich, making more than $1 million a year, and we always felt behind. We still felt like we were in survival, catching up. And as I looked around me at other millionaires, they were all acting the same way. They were overbooked, worn out physically, their relationships were all falling apart, their spiritual lives were a pile of crap. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not an external thing. It is actually a philosophical thing.
Yeah.
And this is the philosophy. God will take care of you. God will take care of us. We either believe that or we don't. We started believing that with very little. That's not an excuse to be a lazy ass. I'm gonna bust my butt. But just to use that as an excuse to work a dead-end job for the rest of my life, it's not gonna work either. Savannah, thank you for writing this. We have formulated a very thought-out response, which we are gonna be sending with some stickers as soon as we get a post office box. But I really do appreciate you taking the time to write that. It is hard. People are at different places, and some people, like Cami said, always feel like they're behind. I just hope you're not waiting for some dollar amount to change that.
In our society, I think so much of that survival is like a mentality versus an actuality. Like in third world countries, it's an actuality, and people are dying because they don't have food. In our society, so it's really, a lot of it is in our minds of feeling like we're in survival mode.
Let's go to the beach. Alright guys, we just got done splashing around in the sunset here. We are finishing up an amazing week and super thankful to be able to live our lives and share our lives. Really the theme of that financial letter reply was, we believe that the most important things that you need in life, you actually can't buy anyways. Don't wait for a dollar amount to get what it is you're after. The relationships, God, the truest things you can't get with money. We hope you guys have a good week. We're gonna start resting tomorrow, and we're actually leaving our house tomorrow, but we'll see you guys on Monday. This is where we say Shabbat. Oh, you're here. You came.
I came.
Hi there. You woke up? You came for the most important part. Okay, you can dive, you can still hop in here. All right, we'll see you guys Monday. Shabbat Shalom.